Hello, welcome back to another episode of More Than Milestones. Today, I'm going to be just kind of talking about my experience in regaining fitness and prioritizing that in my life after motherhood and just like how different those seasons have been. Because we're going to be talking with Expecting and Empowered, the lovely ladies at Expecting and Empowered, about in general fitness and well-being and really like how important pelvic floor PT and re-strengthening and regaining range of motion and being aware of our posture is. But I also feel like since becoming a mom, there were so many times where I would hear that kind of message and be like, yeah, like I would love to get back to working out. I would love to have 20 minutes to go for a walk. And at so many points, it felt impossible in some ways and shifting in other ways. And I feel truly like now that my kids are 7, 5, and 4, I am in such a different season of being able to pour more into myself. And part of that is related to fitness and exercise, which has always been a big part of my life. So I always played sports. I mean, I wasn't like the best, but I played field hockey. I was a swimmer, always did sports. Movement and fitness has always been a big part of my life and like my family's life, my parents, all of my siblings, and now for our family as well. And there were definitely times where I don't think I had the healthiest relationship with fitness. Some of that related to definitely like eating as well and like control in those areas, which maybe I'll dig into that in another episode. So I don't think I always had the healthiest relationship, especially like in high school. I started to really view fitness solely as a way to like make my body look the way that I wanted it to look, right? And I had kind of I don't think I really embraced like understanding the importance of fitness on mental health too, which obviously became really important once I became a mom. So leading up to my pregnancy with Audrey, Jay and I had just gotten married. We literally got pregnant on our honeymoon in Hawaii. And so I was in like literally probably the best shape of my adult life at that point, headed into the wedding, right? Obviously, again, mostly for aesthetics, not for mental health. And then I feel like during my pregnancy, I gained so much weight, like so much weight. I went so hard on Shamrock Shakes at McDonald's. If you know, you know, because at that point I was on the road. So I would be driving past McDonald's and like Shamrock Shakes are only out for a little while, right? So obviously I had to take advantage. Shameless plug, Just Ingredients makes a protein powder that tastes exactly like a Shamrock Shake. I'll put the link in here. It's insane. It is so good and it's protein. So you feel a little better about it. But anyway, I gained a ton of weight in Audrey's pregnancy. I moved a little bit. I was super active in what I was doing as a physical therapist at that point. The children and the population that I was working with kept me really active. But I don't necessarily feel like I was like intentionally working out, really, to be honest. And then I had her, and obviously like my entire body changed. My image of my entire body changed. Obviously, my mental health changed. I was struggling with postpartum anxiety, which I didn't know at that point. But again, I had never really looked at movement and exercise as a mental health thing. Not that I hadn't, but like I think people are going to know what I'm trying to explain. Like, it just wasn't the top priority when I was thinking about a workout. Like I wasn't like, I need to clear my head. Let me go lift some weights. Like that, it just wasn't the first thing I thought of, put it that way. So after having Audrey, obviously I've shared a lot about what was going on mental health wise for me. It was really challenging. And I really started to slip back into that mindset of like working out solely to like get my body back to where I wanted it to be, feel comfortable in my skin again. And that became unhealthy pretty quickly for me. I definitely feel like I had to back off and kind of shift to like prioritizing, how do I say this? Like prioritizing things that helped me be calmer. Whereas like that was something where I was like, I hate the way I look. Let me go work out. And it just was like, it was just negative, So it wasn't until actually I was pregnant with Liv that I found and started the Expecting and Empowered programs. And not only was my pregnancy completely different, my delivery was completely different, which could have been related to obviously other things as well. But after having Liv, and I think part of this was also because I had put in so much work in therapy and putting things into place to be like, okay, I don't want to have another postpartum experience like that. So what do I need to have in place? And part of that for me was giving myself time, even if it was with the kids right there, giving myself time to like stretch or do a 10-minute workout, whatever I could squeeze in. I really tried to give myself permission to just start doing something. And I feel like, for one, I am definitely a program follower. Like, it is easiest for me if someone is like, this is what you do. This is the day that you do it. This is how long it's going to take you. Like, if I just go willy-nilly, it's like not great. Or I shouldn't say not great. I should say like I get burned out. I get frustrated because I'm like, I'm not seeing any changes. I'm not seeing results, whatever. It doesn't really matter. So when I would try to get a quick workout in, it was like I was battling myself in my head because I was like, well, if you can't work out for a half hour and you're not dripping in sweat and you're not sore, it's not even worth it. And so trying to figure out at that point, then, like, I had 2 under 2. We were headed straight into the pandemic where Jay was an essential worker in the city. So I was home literally by myself with the kids, trying to do telehealth from work, like transitioning my patients to telehealth at that point. Like, it was obviously a wild time. I was starting up Milestones in Motherhood because I was like, well, let me just share what we're doing during the day, like that sort of thing. So it kind of like faded out for me. And I was like, okay, this just isn't the season where I'm going to be able to like commit to the things that I want to commit to. But how can I give myself that grace and still do something that helps? So I feel like that's the piece where I started to shift more towards like, what is this doing for my mental health, right? Like, we are inside, we are in a pandemic, we are like navigating 2 under 2 and like working, all these things. What is movement going to do for my mental health? And so I feel like that was kind of a shift for me, and starting to just be like, it's okay if it's only 10 minutes. It's okay if it's only 20 minutes. Like, it all matters, but not to the extent that I feel like I'm in now. And so after having Austin, it was really like, it felt like an impossibility to exercise. Like, I would do like spurts, and I would be consistent with some of the things related to like pelvic floor because I really wanted to get back into running. So I was following the Expecting and Empowered Return to Running program, and that I committed to, but that was like weeks long, and then it would kind of die out for me again. So I was kind of back in that pattern of like, I would commit and then I'd fall off because life just got crazy, and then I'd be frustrated with myself for not sticking to it and like committing to it. And I really feel like someone's going to need to hear this. It gets so much easier to prioritize yourself little by little, especially when you are giving yourself that grace and being like, it's okay that you only did 10 minutes. Maybe tomorrow you get 20. And then all of a sudden, it's like you're in a new season, right? So again, my kids are 7, 5, and 4 now. The other day, they were bike riding on the road, and I got my workout in. And it was like such a moment for me of like, whoa, I never 5 years ago, 6 years ago, could have imagined getting in an effective workout that made me feel good, that made the kids feel good, that gave us time together. Like, things shift. Now I take them downstairs with me. I have a little play space set up for them. They're old enough that I know they're not going to like hurt themselves. They do their thing. I hop on the treadmill, do my thing. We're there if we need to be. Like, things shift, and I can get a 40-minute walk in, or I can get a run in on the treadmill, or I can get a weightlifting session in. And now the even cooler thing is like having seen me prioritize myself over, I would say probably the last, really, it was like July. Actually, it was exactly July 3rd of last year because I had a health scare. Another thing I might talk about in another episode, but I had a heart scare basically related to a virus, and I still have high blood pressure. I had gestational hypertension through all 3 of my pregnancies, almost preeclamptic with 2, and induced early with all 3. So whatever, that piece doesn't matter. But it scared me, and I was like, I am prioritizing my health now. I am walking every single day, a minimum of 3 miles, and I fully committed to it. Part of it, a huge part of it, was fear, but I fully committed to it. And then from then, I've been able to add back in other things that I enjoy. Like, I started doing Pilates, which is like, I've never done Pilates before, and I love it. And my body is changing, and I feel so good. And it's like, the girls, especially, see me doing it right with them, and now they want to do it with me. And like, how cool is it to be able to like impact them and change my own mentality about exercising and my body at the same time, right? Because like, I would never, ever let them hear me say some of the things that I used to think in my head about a workout, like, oh God, if I eat that, I'm going to have to do like an extra run, a couple extra sprints. I would never, ever let them hear me say that. So even being conscious of that and being like, they're like, why do you like to work out? And I'm like, because it's good for my heart. It's good for my brain. It's good for our bodies and our muscles. And it helps me be able to keep up with you and do all the things that we like to do. Like framing exercise and movement in that way for them has legitimately, like it gives me chills. It has legitimately helped me rewire my brain too. And now where I used to be like, a workout was a punishment or a workout, not a punishment, I shouldn't say that, but like a workout was like, I needed to do it because I wanted to have this thing, or I didn't like the way my body felt that day or looked that day. Being able to shift to being like, you know what? I'm really overstimulated. I'm really overwhelmed. I'm going to step outside for 5 minutes and take a 5-minute walk, 10-minute walk on the driveway. You guys get on your bikes, get on your scooters. I'm just going to walk down this way. Like, put my little noise canceling headphones on, and like the shift to movement and the power of movement for overall well-being, mental well-being, physical well-being, all of it has just been like, honestly, it's been incredible. And I feel really proud of myself for how far I've come, but I genuinely never anticipated that I'd be able to get here. I never anticipated that I would hit a season where I could do this and I could prioritize my working out and my fitness and my overall health, including my children for one, but also just in general, because it felt impossible. There were days where I couldn't even like get in the shower, like I'm waiting for Jay to get home from work so I can take a shower, or I'm in the same clothes, and like, it's hard when you're in it. And that's okay. It's okay if it doesn't look the same as it did. It's okay if you're not getting in a 60-minute sweat session where you're dripping sweat, lifting weights, running, doing all this stuff that you used to do. Like, it's going to look different in different seasons, but I promise you, literally, I promise you, you will get back to that place, the place that you want to be. And it might be a different place as well, but it's like incredible. And it's just something I never really saw coming. So if you are in that season where it feels impossible to do anything fitness workout wise, my suggestion to you is to, one, first and foremost, give yourself grace and know that it's not going to be like this forever. Two, it's okay to start small. Pick something that feels manageable. If it's, you're laying with the kids and they fall asleep and you get down on the floor after you crawl out of their bed and are waiting and hoping that they don't pop back up. I'm like, hey, mommy, do 10 crunches. If that is all you can fit in and that makes you feel like, yeah, I did it, do that. Like, start somewhere. But I promise you, like, it's going to shift and it's going to be so awesome when it does. And like making sure that you are carving out those little bits of time, like it really does. It all adds up. And someone said this, I might have even shared this in another episode, but someone recently said to me, oh, it's in an episode. Yeah, it is. Okay, that's coming. But basically they said if you only had a couple sips of water left, you wouldn't just dump it out because it's not enough water if you were thirsty. You would drink it and you would start there and then you'd find a way to get a little bit more water, right? Like you're just continuing to build on those little good positive moments. And before you know it, it really is going to be different. And if you have never experienced that and you were able to like prioritize and get that, like stick with what felt good for you the whole time in every season, that's also amazing. This is just my experience and the seasons that I feel like I've gone through to get me back to this place where it's exciting. It's exciting to be able to prioritize myself again and to feel really good about working out and taking care of my body and letting my kids see that and changing the narrative for hopefully the next generation of girls. Like, I want my girls to work out because they love their bodies and they want to be able to do the things that they want to do and they want to feel strong and they want to feel powerful. Like, I always want them to feel that because so much of the outside world is going to tell them otherwise. And I want to make sure that what's coming from inside them is strong and that they believe that, and Bubba too, of course. I'm just saying specifically my girls because they are really loving Pilates. That's just what I'm thinking about. But yeah, it's really cool. And I hope that this gives you some encouragement if you're kind of in one of those harder seasons. It really, I promise it's going to get better and it's going to be so awesome when it does. So stay tuned for more about just pregnancy, postpartum fitness, all of that sort of stuff when we talk with the ladies over at Uni. Have a good one.